Good morning, friends. You all know that homeopathy is a dynamic science. Entire philosophy is dependent on its dynamism. So there is a dynamic medicines and there is a dynamic disease and the dynamic human beings. And has to be applied in its clinical dimensions. So bringing down the dynamism at the clinical is the basic aspect for homeopathic understanding. So let us start our journey into the dynamism of medicines, the dynamic aspects of the clinical dimensions for the homeopathy. Thank you. And we start now with our basic mission, understanding. So friends, what is the important things for us and how we know ourselves? We know only by understanding, our perceptions, understanding, and that is our limitations also, and that is our dimensions also. And with this very important quotations from Sich Capra, understanding of life begins with the understanding of the pattern. It is not the static form, it is just that thing moving. So motion is the life, and motion cannot be understood with one strokes, at one episode, at one thing. It has to be continued like a video camera. It has to run, and we have to observe, and we perceive our mentions. So difficult thing is that one of the most difficult thing is that how we know ourselves. And because we don't know ourselves completely, does it mean that it is the end? And these basic things that we have to keep in mind. We are not the end of this knowledge. We are just a part of this knowledge. The part of this knowledge, and this is very important understanding, that we should not boast that I know everything, and no one can on this earth can know that he know everything. Everything is impossible. You only grasp the iceberg of the entire philosophy, iceberg of the entire information available in this planet. Friends, it depends, it deepens with the understanding, your knowledge gets deeper and it becomes wider, and more you wide, you can become the more wiser, and your understanding, your perceptions, your seeing, the foreseeing will get improved. This is important things. And what is the unique things for us? Biologically provided by the genetic code. We all have the genetic code. Ability to express own story attributing meaning. We all have our meaning for us. I know who I am. I want to know, but at the same time, I don't know myself who I am completely. Then sharing it through narrations, giving coherence to the information, and related to the interpersonal motivational system and creating alternating hierarchy. So these are the states we have to cross to understand the entire philosophy of the life. Although on an average, we all have the same element alignment among all human beings, yet there are contrasting differences between each one of us. All the elements that is available on this planet, it is within our life. It is inside our life. And we can say that a human being, as an individual, you are the individual universe, individual planets. And in spite of this planet, the same elements available everywhere, we are not the same. We are not the same. We are unique. What is the difference? And even the twins are not alike. This is the basic theme that I want to instill into your field, that the homeopathy is a science of individuality, and you must realize what is the meaning of the individuality. So we are born unique, we will remain unique, and we will die unique. So unique pattern, and we have to explore that unique pattern of the human being for our clinical purpose. What is unique in us? And it has been very rightly said that peculiar, queer, rare, strange, all these elements have to be combined together. So this uniqueness is important for us. And unique characteristics are very much individual in every living organizations on this planet. And even among the same genus, all species at physical level represent similar chemicals and physical orientation, yet they differ from each other at the individual space. We all are different. In spite of the grouping, the classification, it is the wider. It is just we have collected some of the similarity, but among that similarity, every individual have got the dissimilarity. And number of elements have limitations. Some are known and still some known. According to the periodic table, we know about the 108 elements. They are known and they have been discovered, but I don't feel that they are the limited. There may be many more. We observe infinite variations from person to person, which are in every changing process. Whether I represent my father, yes, I represent my father. I represent my mother, yes. But am I my father? No. I am different than my father. I am different from my mother. I am something quite different from both of my parents. And this equational changes keeps on going from every person, from generations to generation. An individual life represents an equational balance. And now this is the important things that we have to. The equational formula. Equations is the important things. Every time equation gets changed. Every time the resolutions of the life, it becomes the equational. So every time life is born, they come with the new equation, new summary, new philosophy, and individuality is the theme of the life. Friends, evolution of planet has kept bringing new messages all the time. Each species of life comes with individual theme. Each human life are different from each other's, and their sufferings are quite distinct in spite of the nomenclature given to the diagnosis. Yes, we are trying to bring every information under our control, and it is impossible. It is not possible because the wider and because of the diversity in the individuality, you cannot unify them. So what we do, we only study coming closer to the individual. We have to make a classification study. So and only what we can understand the thematic similar medicines obtained from the nature. Thematic. For each person, the theme is there. So we have to draw a theme. We have to draw a theme for an individual. We have to draw a theme for the medicines, and we have to draw a theme for the disease also. And that becomes the matching point for this element. So entire planet is filled with vegetable, minerals, animals, and imponderabilia, and all have their own theme. Every living organism, every non-living organism have got that message encoded within their life. Their life is not just the presence, the encoded message within the life. This is important things that is there in every. A complex, innate perceptive and motor network drives human behavior from the earliest moment of life to generate a series of representations that regulate, select, and process perceptual information and social actions. Flow of energy within the life is from inside outside, from center to the periphery. The similar sensation and modality get spreaded all over the life domain. Individual theme of life within the similar sensation and modality and exhibits the individual's characteristic feature. So what is there at one place is there, Vonnegut has rightly said, the grand generalizations. And Vonnegut was trying to explain the center to the periphery. What is there in our vital principle? It has to be observed at the different plane of the body. Dynamics are imprinted as memory in our life. We draw a portrait of individual's life based on this similarity which get imprinted in our memory. And dynamic are thus the overall impressions of the life. So during the sickness, also, this individual features remains the same, but in distorted form. What happens during the disease? Elements are there, but they are not as earlier during the healthy state. It is the distortion. And disease represents the modified state of the life which we need to understand the changes created for reversal back to the health. And changes takes place as a result by the lifestyles and how they have got changed. Medicines has to be planned with follow-up with the changes that occurs. So it is only hierarchical order that flow the changes. Life and disease follow their own principles with conflict between them. Conflict between them. When we are affected by the disease, now we have the two principles. We have the two principles. One, our own life, and one, the life principle of the disease. So now two principles are interacting when we are sick. And this interplay and these interactions makes us puts us a change situations, have a change sensation, change problems, change understandings for the life. Dynamic are derived from the complete story of the life. How we can know this? Until we don't know the complete story. It has its own way to get into dynamic theme. A theme is not derived from one symptom, one aspect, one feature. The whole study will help you to understand the theme. It is derived from evolution of the life from birth till present within the life span in a specific surroundings. What we are? We are the evolved life. And from the birth till our present life, we are living in a surroundings. And often sometimes we changes our surroundings and all the impacts creates the presenting problem, presenting situations. All medicines have to be understood with their dynamic, the matrix plan prevailing within them. The similar thing has to be studied within the medicines, and each medicines represent a hierarchy of symptoms based on the fixed theme. Like the human life, there is a principle, basic principle for the human life. So each medicinal substance or each element that is there present on this planet, they have their own principles. They are governed by the own principles. So they have and that principle is exhibited into the entire properties and symptoms of that. When we are able to recognize those hierarchical order of symptoms, a thematic pattern is exhibited in them. Friends, symptoms keep increasing in each medicines. Now there is a difference between the symptoms and the data. The information contained in medicines has made them to become polycrest from rare groups. You know, almost all the medicines have got the very few informations. During the time of Hahnemann, Metra Medica Pura, it gets evolved from the fragmenta divarivis, which get more enhanced during the lifetime of Dr. Hahnemann through the chronic disease, the expression of the chronic disease. And it continued, and till date, how much informations are there for each and every medicines. I think it is not possible for one individual to memorize all of them or go through all of them. We have seen that Ellen's encyclopedia contains 5,064 symptoms. But what is its status in Radar Opus? What is its status in all the softwares? The status has greatly evolved into the 15,000 or more. 15,000. And for the one medicine, Naxvomica and all other medicines have this process of ever-growing number of the symptoms. Now, friends, it is possible to practice and keep on adding all the symptoms every time and to keep into the memory. No, only have to the theme has to be. So exploding number of the symptoms can never be remembered in memory and recalled during use. Dynamic thematic understanding can only help in assessing all during the clinical practice. Friends, symptoms have evolutionary process, steps to follow according to the dynamic theme of the medicines. So symptoms do not appear on our body like a miracle. It has got the birth, it has got the development, and it has got the continuation. So we observe all the symptoms to be the same in medicine, but it is only the presentations that make them different from each other. There is a birth, and that birth is followed by the way that they grow, and the way they grow, they differentiate the medicines from one another. And along with these general symptoms, often there are opposite symptoms also. Sometimes you will see the general follow-up and there are some opposite symptoms. and together they constitute the individual theme. Thematic understanding of medicines reflect an individual portrait, and memory of the medicines in mind is directly proportional to the thematic features only. What we can store in our mind? Only the thematic property, not the entire symptomatology. We cannot store the 15,000 symptoms of sulfur into within our mind, but we can have the thematic feelings about the sensation about the sulfur. We can have the thematic or sensational image that is there. Like it is the similar like that. What we know about one of our friends, we know only the outlook and the impression that is there in my mind, that is stored, and only through that stored impressions we recognize every time whatever change might have occurred in their life. For any eventful situations, our memory only retains the theme expressed in it. We forget about the symptoms, but the theme of it is retained forever. We have to look for guiding principles to arrive at the understanding about each medicine. Learning medicines become easier with thematic understanding carried within them, and reflecting of image during encountering a patient are realized only through the thematic understanding of the medicines. Thematic understanding. So this is learning and getting reflected when we are seated with the patient. Friends, theme has impact on the deeper level of the mind, and theme emerges from the overall impact of the life, but retained the fundamental of the life. This is important things that we have seen, fundamental of the life. And a spiritual man is endowed with the mind and body. What we see, the man, the vital principle, it has got the two windows. The one window is mind and other window is body. Mind is very volatile and body is static. It has got the fixed structure. Mind don't have the fixed structure. So from infinity to the limited thing, spirituality is observed. Human visual consciousness is so highly developed but very vivid to us. Consciousness is unlimited. How we can develop our consciousness? We cannot imagine, but we have to only the imaginations that makes us to understand the touch or the taste. When we taste a sweet, a particular sweet, and when you want to express the sweetness of that taste, what we will say? It is too sweet. It is less sweet. It is not sweet. And beyond that, no. So expression level is the limitations of your vocabulary, of your expression, but its sensation is at the inner depth. So now, one thing we usually think about the symptoms, that it has got the three elements, basic element. One is the location, sensation, and modality. But when we try to apply this thing to the mind, so where is the location? It is a big question where mind resides. Where is your mind? It is in your nervous system. It is in your digestive system. It is in your heart. It is where it is. Yes, our body are our garden, and will are the garden. We are the gardeners. Yes, body is the garden, and it travels, keep on traveling, and we are like the gardener. We try to motivate, we try to regulate them, and we are like the captain of our life. Mind provides potentiality, body provides the likewise. What is there in the mind, has to be reflected at the body. And mind is the perfect master body, and body is the willing instrument. It like the servant and the master. Mind is the master, and body is the servant. It has to obey, and it is being obeyed. And the symptoms that we feel, pain. Doctor, pain is too much. But it is the mind which says that it is too much. And expressions becomes difficult. So this mind is And type of the mind, if you are a too sensitive person, the pain you will feel more. And if you are not so much sensitive, you may not feel so much more. So observations of life, it starts to know, have understanding for the mind, understanding for the spirituality, and understanding for the body. And it is from visible to the invisible. Our traveling and learning for the learning life, it starts from the visible body, physical body. It goes to the mind, and then we see the spirit. And this is the pathway of visibility to the invisible. So whatever is being displayed at the body, it has to be displayed. We have to interpret with the mind, and we have to find out its the basic characteristic feature at the spiritual. And this spirit will be represented as the form of the theme. Man has created an image of everything that comes in contact with our life. We are the own creations of the image of God in our own caste. God has given us the image, and this image is being maintained by us. God has provided you the structure. God has provided you the formula, and how you are using the formula, that represents your changes or the image. Mankind has realized nature of life and remain in exploring into the nature of embodiment. Observations have limitations which restricts our belief and understandings. We cannot have the entire things. We wish to see everything that we believe. We don't try to overpass our belief. But when you overpass your belief, you will see the new universe, new phenomena. Mind, we have the sensation, yet we wish to get the locations, and body remains a non-controversial object. And that's why all system of the medicines have got concentrated their understandings only through the body. But in we are completely distinct from other, that we go through the mind and through the spirituality. Present human mind is the most evolved state among all living organisms on this planet. Everything are tried to be explored in its most fundamental state. Ability to think made it analytical in nature, where it can evaluate the situations and take appropriate decisions. Mind is present in the nucleus of the cell. Now I was asking you, where is the location? It is the nucleus of each and every cell. And how many cells you have got? Infinite. I cannot count how many cells are within life. So mind nucleus distributed all over the body the element of the mind is what? Emotions, intelligence, and will. Sensory system and represented are the representative of the mind. So mind is embodied all over our life. It is the faith that has made man to observe and watch everything with curiosity to confirm own understanding. And foremost functions are to keep life's organizations into perfect conditions, so that the highest purpose of existence on this planet is realized. Dr. Henneman has rightly said in a 5-9, why we are here on this planet? Prove ourselves to be and live for the highest purpose of our life. And where the life lives, where we live, where the mind dwells. Where we live, our living place, locations, our house is our mind. Where mind takes, we remain there. So relationship of the mind and the body. The mind is like the window and the body is like the sand. If we want to see how the wind is blowing, we can look at the sand. And when you see the sand, you see the way it is blowing. It is beautiful quotations. Understanding the status of mind during all disease conditions coming up in life helps in bringing a better solution leading towards the cure. Mind in its managerial role has to take up the situations and making attempts to find out solution, and also to find out survival mechanism during such conditions. The managerial role. Management. Management is to see the things get in our work are functioning in order. So survival mechanism, managerial function of the mind is to find out the solution for our survival on this planet. And during all illness, mind makes its own strategy for combating situations and restore healthy condition. Mind employs element of emotions, intellect, and will to become active and partake in combating the inimical energy from the life. So, during every element, we have our emotions is affected, our intellect is affected. However intelligent we may be, we will not be able to utilize that intelligence during the sickness. Whatever we desire, it gets converted, we get perverted. So it is with the intercounting our inimical energy. And every attempts of mind are being made to restore the healthy state of the life. Purpose is to keep us alive as long as possible. Role for the physician are to explore the status of such a state of mind so that it can be supported with the required medicines. Diagnosis of any disease without understanding a status of mind will remain incomplete. Mind lives with the situations both during health and disease. Dr. Henneman has expressed in indwelling region gifted mind, number 9, feels relaxed during the health, gets depressed during the disease, and mind and body keeps following each other. Symptoms at the physical level have the imprint of the symptoms of the mind. Sickness are the state where both mind and body are involved, affecting each other. Mind is empowered to reside in a place where lies the problems. What is the managerial aspect? Manager don't seated in the chamber, but whenever the problem arises, his mind, he starts planning for that. And it is the region gifted of all, and all attempts are made to get the solution for the problem. And it is the indwelling in nature. Indwelling, it is the nature. This is the basic property of our mind. Tragedy is that we fail to provide requisite training and educations. We are short-sighted through the indulgence. This is the limitations that we have. The physician in man requires diagnosis these complexity most accurately to discover the totality of the phenomena of a specific man that has evolved. A slave to time and circumstances. What we are the slave of the time and the circumstances. And this is the limitation, and this is the causations for all our problems. So causations becomes more important, and what has made a transformation in your state of the life. sickness theme are often better observed rather than during the healthy state. Sometimes it is difficult to understand what is the actually, but when the man is in problem, he speaks in his own language, in his own mother tongue. Comparison of the life situations during health and disease can be better understood with the thematic changes. And with intellect, one tries to hide their weakness, yet they get exposed to the body expression and make and more during the sickness. And curative process also gets better understood with the thematic expressions getting changed. We need to observe the way and pattern of the persons and how they react to any situations coming in their life. So pattern, I have spoken about it from the beginning, that life is not only what you see once. It is the pattern. You have to follow the entire pattern to understand the life. The study of medicines requires perceiving the basic principle on which all the symptoms are followed. We can observe in each medicines that there are some symptoms follow the same pattern while others are behaving in opposite directions. And life is constantly trying to get rid of the disease. And this is better understood as the conflicting and informations coming with the patient's life during the disease state. And disease state of the life is simply a struggled state. What we say, it is a war. As soon as the two king lives together, there is a war. The one thing is your vital principle and other is the disease principle. And the sooner the disease enters your life, a struggles begin. So conflicting symptoms brings the characteristics understanding of the patient's life and also the medicines. Patient is never indicated by a single symptoms in mind. Dr. Heyman was very much strict about how to know the patient. Patient comes with problem, and we try to explore the symptoms, but symptoms are not one. Symptoms are many. So we have to go through all the symptoms to get the medicine. So patient is never indicated by a single symptoms, however peculiar they may be. Theme of a person should not be drawn on one observation. Similarly, theme of a medicine is also not represented by a single symptom, the single fact. Every remedy having thousands of symptoms can be made understood with the theme evolved in them. It is difficult to keep all symptoms of particular symptoms of particular medicines which get increased, but they can be for understand mind domain through the thematic understanding. Now just see, I'm trying to compare the number of symptoms that I know about the sulfur is 15,984. But with this 6 hopeful dreamer, philosophical versus practical, self-centered, conscientious, imaginative and theorizing, warm-blooded, wants door and window open, burning pain and sensation, location, heat, ascending, and offensive discharge, and desires for sweets and spicy and eating. They can bring you more closer to the sulfur. And when you come closer to the sulfur, you can compare it with the other medicines also. Similarly, Nux vomica, 11,964 rubrics, and a strong inner urge, aversion to restriction, independent, oversensitive to all external impressions, a strong urge, ineffectual urging, feeling as if not finished work, stool, micturations, whatever it may be, fastidious, ambitious, irritable, malicious, and violent, and early morning, and irritable, depressed, very chilly, pain, ameliorated by the heat, and craving for the stimulant, and cramped states. Similarly, Pulsatilla has got 12,143 symptoms, and affectionate mind, timid, emotional, fearful, alternating with the laughter, forsaken feeling, yielding, lot of fears, darkness, narrow place when alone, chilly yet heat tolerant, ameliorate, no thirst, and bland yellow-green discharges, fat and rich food aggravates. So these are the indicative Theme are the indicative which can lead you towards the medicines. So lycopodium 12,201 rubrics, extreme lack of the self-confidence and compensatory haughtiness and dictatorial. Aggravation, new things, responsibility and dictatorial at home. Inflations, ego, stomach, abdomen, gastrointestinal disturbances. Right-sided complaints or the right to left. Desire for sweets, chilly yet craving for the open air, and aggravations at 3 to 4 a.m. and 4 to 8 p.m. Friends, Calcarea carb has got 11,830 symptoms. Protections and organization is the basic structure. Many fears desire to be magnetized and delayed and slow in development, fat and flabby or tendency to grow, extreme chilliness, liability to take coldness in spot, profuse sour perspiration, exertions during sleep, craving for sweets, soft boiled eggs, salt, aversion to milk and aggravation from, and the height aggravates. Phosphorus, 13,661 symptoms. They are extroverted, expressive, affectionate, and sympathetic. Too open and easily impersonable, easily distracted, suggestible, quick perception. Lot of fears and anxiety, cold drinks, burning heats, and then lying on the left side aggravates, emulated by the sleep, even with the short sleep, and craving for highly seasoned foods. Thuja has got 8,841 seats, fixed idea, close yet well mannered and polite, ugly, unlovable feelings inside, present a manufactured image of the world. Aggravations, cold and damp weather, yellow, green, or green discharge, and oily skin, problems with the nail, onions aggravate or ameliorate and liking, and warts. And then Thuja occidentals, Veratrum album 6,441 mental overstimulations. Ambitions employ every possible means, excessive restlessness, mental and physical. Ambitions, every possible means employed. Tremendous chilliness, location or general coldness, excessive evacuations, watery and sweat, craving for sour foods, salty things, and the cold drinks. Gincum metallicum, 8,056 symptoms, rubrics, mental prostrations can throw things of yielding. Brain fag, increasing weakness and restlessness, sensitive to the noise or the voice, aggravate suppressed secretions, aberrations, free secretions, aggravate wine, and then restlessness at a leg, and the great hunger aggravates, ameliorated by the eating. So, nucleus are the central features from where entire symptoms get reflected as the different symptoms. Symptoms will keep accumulating from generations to generations. And dynamic theme are the window of the life, and through the window of the life, we get vivid picture, and for every changing situation in life getting reflected through the differences. The pattern of the symptom and the totality of the symptom are the only presentation during a phase of particular time. So evolution of medical system gradually got diverged into different systems following definitive principles, and each principle revolved around the life, disease, and the cure. Now we have to differentiate how we are different. There are so many medical systems, but we are completely different from others. We have our own basic principles, we have our own understanding. So journey of similar medicines traveling into the space. Hippocrates gave birth to the principles of in medicines based on similar and dissimilar application of symptoms. Homeopathic system of emerged with the law of similars with applicability of the dynamic plane of life by Dr. Hahnemann, and then Dr. B. Sahani. He also gave the new dimension of administration of medicine through a distance from the separated part of the body. So effective introductions of medicines into the targeted area needs a compatible way of administration of the medicine. This is the administrative. We always try to administer the medicines to the patient. And vital principle requires vital medicines. And how to administer this vital medicines is important. So we have to find out the accurate administration process. And there are many things Dr. Henneman has hypothetically explained about the oral, olfactions, and tactuals. But beyond that, he also thought about the mesmerizing effects of the medicines. So Dr. Henneman of the concept of treating the vital planes of life lead to the discovery of medicines beyond molecular biology of life. And applicability of lost familia with the evolved vital plane lead our understanding about the possibility of subtle nature of medicines evolved in homeopathic medicine administration. So penetrating capacity of medicines are different on the natures of medicines as well as place where it is tried to be administered. We have to the material. When we try to invade the material, we have to transfer the material mode. If you try to invade at the psyche level, we have to use the counseling, and we have to, when we try to touch the dynamic level, we have to adopt the dynamic mode. So homeopathic medicines can be divided into distinct categories: molecular medicines and non-molecular medicines. From molecular medicines, administration can be through the physical area of the life where it is applied. For non-molecular medicines, which goes beyond the Avogadro number, require the dynamic area. So this is the distinction that this is the things that we are carrying on in our mathematics and in our pharmaceutical understanding. The medicines we have from mother tincture to the level of the medicines which contains the molecule. But beyond that, there are the non-molecular medicines, and that distinction has to be understood, and where and what way of to administer to the patient. So founder of homeopathic system of medicine has tried to find out the appropriate mode of administration as mentioned in file number 284. Search in oral, tactual, and olfaction. And traditional mode of administration as a oral medicines was the compulsions. Why we give medicines orally? Only because we have no options. We don't think beyond that. And when you overcome your thinking process, you can understand the other modes of the administration also. In 283, Dr. Henneman writes, now in order to really act really in conformity with the nature, the true physicians will prescribe his well-selected medicines only in exactly a similar dose. We are just sufficient overpower and annihilate the disease before him in a dose of such minuteness that if human fallibility should betray him into administrating in inappropriate way. So administration of dynamic medicines on diseased persons has remained a subject of study for Dr. Henneman and all his followers. And every part of our body that the sense or touch is also capable of receiving the influence of medicine and propagating their power to other parts of it. 289 according. Then Dr. B. Sahani has discovered a new mode of administration, dynamic medicine, and that was the distance mode of administration, which is transferring the energy from one place to the another through the representative of the patients. And homeopathic medicines, what is homeopathic medicine? It is medicines or memory. Yes, it is still to be investigated scientifically. But for the time being, we can call them the memory. So memory can be transferred from one place without any material mode. So memory refers to the process that are used to acquire, store, retain, and later retrieve information. There are three major processes involved in memory: encoding, storing, and retrieval. So every medicine has got the encoding, the storage, and retrieval. And we also have the same type of the memory. So recently, French virologist Luc Montagnier, winner of a Nobel Prize for co-discovery of the link between HIV and AIDS, presented a quasi-homeopathic method in 2009. He just suggested that water could retain electrochemical property even when the solution was massively diluted. The contentions of Mondigre, a professor at Shanghai University in China, again shocked the scientific community and many more diseases. The work of Japanese authors Masaru Himoto, he contended that human consciousness has an effect on the molecular structure of water, become known for his beautiful picture of the water crystals. You can see the changes that is being made by observed before and after the medicines were put with the some of the photos are. So effect of the water immune vibration and 500 people sending their positive thoughts and prayer over the water and the changes got changed. Beyond Avogadro number, molecular number. So as per Avogadro number, high potency beyond 12 C homeopathic medicine cannot even have the trace of it starting material. So we can, how can we say them to the medicines? If distinguishing chemical formula is the criteria, then they are the non-medicines. Still, they continue to cure disease for over a century. It implies a necessity to reorient our thinking process. Concept of quantum energy teleportations. Hypothesis of quantum energy teleportations was also put forward by Japanese physicist Masaru Hoto of Tokyo University, which proposed that it may be possible to teleport energy by exploiting quantum energy fluctuations of an entangled vacuum state of the quantum field. The hypothesis proposes that energy may be injected into the zero-point fluctuations of the field at one place and extracted from fluctuations at the another place. And even for the interstellar distance energy transfer, the amount of teleported energy is non-zero but negligible small. In contrast, the teleportation protocol will be effective in a small quantum works of nano-scale device like quantum computer. So quantum energy teleportation is a quantum protocol which transfer locally available energy in an operational sense from one substation system of the mind-body system to another entangled ground state by using local operational and classical communications law. So dynamic property has got the electromagnetic waves. You can say it is represented, it is like that in the, just to utilize our limited words, and dynamic medicines of compels one to think of its remote administration. Today we are experiencing the remote effect of dynamic in every field and walk of their life. Hahnemann has compared the effect of homeopathic medicines with the effect of mesmerism, 293 according. And while the mystery of homeopathic medicine working is still to be revealed, effect has displayed the effectiveness beyond doubt. And Dr. B. Sahani has discovered medicines of homeopathy are transmitted from a distance through the natural belonging of the person. So any natural belonging separated from the body retains their connectivity with the original body. Thus, medicine administered on the separated hair sends the signals to the body, which subsequently receives them. And today, science is venturing to explore the realm that has been exported. In 1982, an experiment by the team of physics in France has confirmed the idea of transcendence of quantum physics. The experiment conducted by alien aspect and collaboration provided that two quantum particles emitted from the same source remain inextricably correlated. So when a change is made in one particular particle, instantly the other part gets affected. Similarly, even separated vast distance. So this is the change. If you make a change at this place, it can be observed as the other counterpart. So this is the way that we can transfer and the medicines work. Following assumptions are made to explain the process of transmission of homeopathic drug energy of the medicines from a distance. Electromagnetic waves from the environment are incidents on medicines at infinite number of planes, and they are scattered at right angle in the direction of incidence. So now, just trying to explain with the Raman's effect, incidence rate, when it is reflected, it carries on the principle of the reflecting surface. And when this electromagnetic wave has incidence on our homeopathic medicines, and the reflected property carries the information's content in the medicines. So whole range of electromagnetic waves are incidents on the file containing homeopathic medicines and reflected along with the medicinal property. The scattered radiations have different equational frequency from incident radiations, and the difference in frequency. Between the above radiations is the characteristics of the medicines used, but it depends on the incident radiations. So now when we insert the medicines or hair or the patient's object, this reflected electromagnetic waves assumes the frequency of hair and transmitted to the patient with forced vibrations or the sympathetic vibrations. So patients here, as soon as they come in close contact of the medicines, they attain the frequency of the scattered radiations, and simultaneously the patient kept at a distance also attain almost similar frequency due to the forced vibrations or sympathetic vibrations. This has been experienced as and named as Sahani effect. Whole range of the electromagnetic waves are incidents on the transmission state. Here assumes the frequency of the scattered beam and transmits the medicinal energy to the patient. So effects of the distance administration of medicines, we have studied that is instant. They have been demonstrated through the Karelian photography. Patient experiences the change, and change has been confirmed through the pathological reports. This is a Karelian photography of Dr. B. Sahani taken in 1990, and it is without medicines. And after the medications, the patient was put on the sulfur 10 This is the change. Again, another patient, this is before medicines, and this is after medicines, the change. After the administration of netromycin becomes 0/1. Then without medicines, and then we have the Naxvomica, and its effect is like this. So friends, I'm also trying to show you some photographs so that you can understand the change. This is a patient which was treated by us with the transmission of arsenicum album 0/3. Arsenicum album was selected on the basis of these symptoms: elephantiasis, restlessness, nervous, application, warm application, some amylorate, thirst, small quantities for water, loathing of life, extremities, cramp, fits, and death, desire, and heat killing. The only medicines that comes into the picture is the arsenicum, and we transmit it. So now you see the change. Marked ameliorations in pain and the swelling. Then it is followed by the skin getting peeled off, decreasing the level of the swelling. And again, swelling and pain almost disappear. And this is the final stage where the patient is. These are few other things: herpetic eruptions treated and cured. You see the changes, and from the date wise, it was like this, and now on the last picture taken has got no spots. So we have treated various cases of cancer, leukoderma, asthma, and many other incurables using the drug transmission with great success. At our institute, our mode of administration is only the drug transmission. We do not give medicines orally to the patient. Advantages are many. Distance is no bar. Patient seated at far away place can be treated. During aggravations, it can be brought under control by simply removing the hair. In case of wrong selection of medicines, action will be stopped by removing the hair. It is controlled mode of administration of medicines, and only required medicines will be administered. So clinical trials also have proved that distance from medicines is not a dream, but a reality. It raises many questions also, thus giving scope for many more researches in the field of dynamic medicine. Measurement of electromagnetic waves of the medicines in different potency will be a great, huge task. Similarly, finding out the electromagnetic waves of individual will revolutionize the selection of the medicine. We appeal to all conscious homeopaths to come forward to accept the fact which will elevate the status of the medicine. Friends, life is the art of drawing without using an eraser. So it is definitely a big journey to start and continue, and this process will ever grow, ever grow. We have to reach to the pinnacle of the homeopathy. Only we have the deep insight into the dynamic medicines also. So impression, not operation, determines the real life of the real persons. Friends, you don't have to take photograph. You make it. Make your own image. So this is my last message. Friends, only thing that I would like to ask you all to be open and try to develop your feelings and thoughts on the dynamic medicines, dynamic administrations, dynamic life. And with these words, I thank you. And if you have any questions, you can meet me at my email, or you can send a WhatsApp message to me. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Sylvia Lange from Germany. I'm using Someo. I'm a student in homeopathy, and yeah, it's a great value to study and to use the homeopathy program. I've learned a lot from it, and I'm sure I will learn even more using it all the day.